Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Madra Clay. I am the Central Regional Director with Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. I'd like to welcome you here today, and thank you for taking the time to be here with us. We are going to talk about something very exciting, Main Street Matters, which is an initiative of Governor Shapiro. There's so much excitement about this around the state, so here to talk about it, talk about how it's going to benefit Ephrata, how it's going to benefit all the communities in Pennsylvania, is DCED Secretary Siger. All right.
Hey, thanks so much, Madra. And if people here don't know Madra, make sure and introduce yourself, get her business card and her cell phone number. She's our representative here in the middle of the state for DCED, so thanks for your leadership here. I'll admit this is my first time in Ephrata. I'm really excited to be here. It's great to be here with folks today. You know, want to recognize distinguished speakers. You'll be hearing from Joy Ashley, the council president, the mayor, Julie Fitzpatrick from the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, and so many kind of leaders from the Main Street community here, from the community generally, you know, the school district and others. You know, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and maybe most excited to tour a little bit and kind of see what you've been up to. And I've got to say, you know, I've done a bunch of these events recently, including with Governor Shapiro all over Pennsylvania. And every time I visit a new town in Pennsylvania for the first time, I'm totally amazed. Right? You know, main streets and downtowns really make up the heart and the character of our communities. They're gathering spots for residents, business owners, employees, visitors, where people can get together and have a beer at places like the Pour Mans Brewing Company, where we'll be in a minute, where they can shop at a great small business on a main street like Casa Huerta and help build the local economy while doing it. And the governor gets it, like he understands this in a core way. And while I'm really interested in continuing to support main streets like Ephrata through our Keystone Communities program, I also really want to do more to help other communities learn from you and get the resources they need to grow strong main streets all across Pennsylvania. And that's really our vision. That's what we're here to talk about today. But the reality is the tools we have aren't totally up to the task. They're not scaled right to get that done all across PA. And that's why the governor's put forward a really bold budget proposal with meaningful investments that will make us more competitive, grow our economy, and strengthen our communities. And in particular today, I'm here to talk about a $25 million proposal into a new program we call Main Street Matters. This is a program that's going to help give communities the resources they need to make their main streets better places to live, to work, to play, and innovate. And it's critical because, you know, just to be really simple about it, main streets and downtowns are the foundations of our economy and our communities. They're what people think about when you first say the name of a place. It's where businesses want to open, where people want to shop and visit, and they're engines of our local economy. And before I get into the specifics of the program, I should say this importance in community investments into main streets is reflected very directly in the 10-year economic development strategy we released about a month ago. A strategy that emphasizes not just competitive investments around business attraction and retention, but community investments, especially in main streets and downtowns. And this focus, I want to be really clear, is not just about having a nice place to live, it's about being competitive as we face more competition than ever before to attract new residents and businesses and to keep folks here. We want people in Ephrata to stay in Ephrata, we want the businesses here to grow and succeed in Ephrata, and we want to bring new folks in to start their own businesses and raise families all across Pennsylvania. And to do that, we want to invest. And we know that investing in main streets pays off. We know because for many years we've actually been doing it through our Keystone Communities program, which has helped revitalize main streets and elm streets all across Pennsylvania, including the one right out this window. But it's time for us to do more. We've got to support more communities, more resilient communities that our residents deserve. And that's really what Main Street Matters is all about. We want to build on our success, but really also add scale and flexibility to this program, Keystone Communities, that's worked well. For example, we want to update grant amounts for projects like facade restorations, like those going on here, so that grants can be more impactful and address rising costs. These kinds of updated grant amounts will also help communities develop higher quality and more comprehensive planning strategies for issues like Main Street designations, blight mitigation, and feasibility studies. And in addition to just being able to support more communities with a larger dollar amount, this increase the governor's proposing, which is about 4 times larger than our current Main Street program, also enables us to be equipped to support major community projects like anchor buildings or larger developments, including housing throughout Pennsylvania. You know, as I wrap up here and I'm looking forward to hearing from local partners. The governor's call for a $25 million investment into the Main Street Matters program really is an investment that our downtowns and our main streets and our communities deserve. And our goal here is clear. As a result of these investments, we want to ensure a higher quality of life for our citizens, growing businesses, and thriving communities like the one we see here. And it turns out that's really our mission at DCED. This is what we do. This is a mission that I and my team take really seriously. And I'm very proud to stand with Governor Shapiro and with you in calling for this bold new investment for main streets all across Pennsylvania. And I'm especially thrilled, I've got to say, after this event, to go tour this great Main Street and learn more about kind of how you've done it, how you've created such a dynamic place. So thank you very much. It is now my great pleasure to introduce someone who I gather from meeting him a minute ago probably does not need an introduction here. I think he was just elected as mayor last year. Just kidding. Mayor Ralph, no, thank you, sir.
And I'm glad you're all here. We are very honored to have Secretary Siger here to highlight Governor Shapiro's proposed investment in Pennsylvania Main Street, small businesses and local communities. We need that here in Ephrata because we are working very hard. Joy is working extremely hard to fill vacancies and keep people here. Main Street matters because it's a place for everybody. People live and love here. People work and manage businesses here. People play and dream here. As we consider Ephrata the destination of choice, more folks have a connection to Main Street and surrounding neighborhoods than will ever be technically reside within the borough limits. Because of that, we need to support our Main Street whenever and however we can. It affects a heck of a lot of people. I'm glad to see Main Street on the governor's list of priorities. I look forward to working with our friends in Harrisburg to make more progress in Ephrata. A little bit of history. I used to work in this building. Back in 1961, this was J.J. Newberry's, and I was a stock boy. So I worked in this building. We used to have J.J. Newberry's, J.C. Penney's downtown. The big stores left. So we need to rely on small businesses to come in, and for them to come in, we need to continue the effort to build downtown to be the place of choice so that we have people. And Mainspring is doing a fantastic job, and I want to give them every bit of support that I can do from the mayor's office. So next we'll hear from Thomas Reinhold, the president of Borough Council.
Adjust this a little bit for height. So when Joy hit me up at the beginning of this week, I was out in Pittsburgh for work, and I was like, yeah, I'll say a few words, and I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but I'm a little nervous now. So I thought it would be a stand-up deal. First of all, I just want to thank Secretary Siger for taking time out to be here, and welcome to Ephrata, since I was out at your end of the state, if you were saying you're from Pittsburgh originally. I thought it was a little ironic. I mean, here we are. Events like this don't happen very often, and when they do, we should cherish them. And it just so happens it's on leap year, so kind of a day where it doesn't happen very often, but here we are. So, you know, what I think is important, not only with Governor Shapiro and the Main Street Matters initiative, but I think we as Borough Council recognized this a number of years ago, where we wanted to make sure we were investing as much as we could into downtown here, and specifically Main Street. And I think of all the groups that had existed at that time, and I just, looking back on it, I'm very proud of the fact that egos were checked at the door, and all those groups could get together and come to be one as Mainspring. And I just want to make it clear that I think I say this for all of council, when we're extremely proud of the work that Joy and Lisa and staff and the board do for us, and what they've already accomplished thus far, and only other things to come. And we certainly have invested in their successes. We want to make sure they'll be as successful as possible. So, when I think of Main Street Matters, it really does. I mean, this is where the community gathers. This is where the Ephrata Fair takes place every year. This is where we've got the Party on the Plazas, which have become a big success over the last few years. We've got a New Year's Eve celebration now, which is fantastic, and the local businesses play a part in that with Pour Mans. I remember spending some time in there prior to the ball dropping, or I should say that the Green Dragon being lifted this past year. But and this is not just Ephrata Borough. This is the surrounding Ephrata School District community. We've got our neighbors from the township and Clay and Ephrata Township that come here and visit as well. And so it's just nice to see everything that's going on. I was kind of a little upset coming in. I was at State Senator Allman's breakfast meeting this morning with a few others like the mayor, and coming in from Lancaster and coming down off 222. We have one of the most picturesque main streets when you come into town. And I did see our electric division guys starting to take the lights down. So it's unfortunate that it won't be as pretty at night right now until the leaves start to bud again real soon. But again, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to come out here today to celebrate the successes of Mainspring, and of course, more importantly, how we can partner and work with Governor Shapiro's vision, as well as Secretary Siger with the Main Street Matters. So small town is where it's at. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Council President Reinhold. My name is Julie Fitzpatrick. I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, and I'm actually a Lancaster County farm girl, so I literally grew up 15 minutes from here and came to Ephrata my entire life, so it's exciting to see what's happening now in the community and what the future holds for Ephrata. So I'm representing the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, and we are the nonprofit partner with the Department of Community and Economic Development, both for the Main Street program and for the Elm Street program, our commercial district revitalization effort and our neighborhood revitalization program. The Main Street model for community revitalization really is an ideal way to support communities of any size to encourage sustainable economic development and improve the quality of life for the local residents, so that the community becomes the best and the most authentic version of itself. Mainspring of Ephrata joins other communities across the Commonwealth who have been utilizing the Main Street model since the early 80s. Places such as Quakertown, Westchester, Lewisburg, Erie, and Easton. These communities have all benefited by using this tried and true process for core community revitalization, focusing on a comprehensive approach of economic development through historic preservation that benefits both tourists and residents alike. Pennsylvania Downtown is the only statewide nonprofit dedicated solely to the revitalization of Commonwealth's core communities. Our member organizations and the communities with which we work range in size and location from extremely large urban neighborhoods to rural towns with a population of less than 1,000. Primarily through utilization of the National Main Street Center's Main Street approach, PDC provides outreach, technical assistance, and education services to assist communities in revitalizing their central business districts and surrounding residential neighborhoods. As a Main Street America coordinating program, and as a Main Street program yourself here in Ephrata, you are really part of a powerful grassroots network consisting of over 1,600 neighborhoods and communities across the nation, and who are all committed to creating high quality places and to building stronger communities through preservation-based economic development. On behalf of our network of communities, we are strongly advocating for the $25 million for Main Street Matters. Over the last several years, Pennsylvania Main Street and Elm Street programs, once among the most productive and well-received community revitalization programs in the United States, have been chipped away by ongoing Commonwealth budget reductions. These reductions have caused a significant weakening of both the human and the financial infrastructure required to implement these programs. We support Main Street Matters to invest sufficient funds in enhancing the quality of life in Pennsylvania communities, especially small town and rural communities, to make them competitive in a 21st century knowledge-based economy. An important factor in sustainable economic development is the availability of skilled talent, which is directly related to the quality of life, and the Main Street program is the Commonwealth's primary quality of life program. As we're recovering from the effects of the pandemic, this is as important as it's ever been. Over a 5-year designation period, an average community could see over 19 new businesses, over 150 new employees, possibly over 20 rehabilitated buildings with an investment of over $5 million and over $1 million to $2 million of public infrastructure funding. Since PDC began collecting data, there have been over $1.8 billion invested in Main Street communities since 1980 and over $40 million in Elm Street neighborhoods since 2005. Upper floor vacancy and underutilization is huge, and it's a huge missed opportunity, particularly in Pennsylvania. 2/3 of Main Street programs report vacant upper floors, and over half report completely vacant buildings. We can begin to address the housing shortage and the demand by providing incentives to operationalize these upper floors, bringing them back to code, installing things like fire suppression improvements, and helping to make them more accessible now and for future generations. We believe that Main Street Matters will do just that. We also need to support the community development nonprofit organizations such as Mainspring of Ephrata, and our Elm Street programs as well. They've worked tirelessly to make our downtowns and neighborhoods thrive. Even during the last 2 years of the pandemic, where we've seen a positive impact in Main Street districts with over 800 new jobs, 238 new businesses, and over 57,000 volunteer hours to help keep our Main Streets the heart of the community. Having the appropriate tools, funding incentives, and strategies to implement are key to substantive and transformative improvements in our Pennsylvania communities. It's imperative that we do our part to help create communities where residents are proud and choose to live, to raise their families and to retire, to support downtowns of entrepreneurial ecosystems where businesses are given the tools to start a business that has the power to transform their lives and the lives of future generations. We're looking to support communities that offer a high quality of life for their residents, that are safe places for children and for seniors, gathering places to celebrate, and most importantly, welcoming places for all. And with that, I want to welcome Joy Ashley, the Executive Director of Mainspring of Ephrata.
Thank you, Julie. I want to thank the DCED and Secretary Siger for choosing to visit Ephrata today. They're going to be doing a lot of touring throughout the state to highlight the Main Street Matters program, but they can't hit every small town in the state. But they elected to choose Ephrata as one of their places to visit, so we are very honored. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the Pennsylvania Downtown Center for being here as well. The Keystone Communities program, last year, Ephrata became a designated community with a Main Street focus. And I am so grateful for that program because it provided the blueprint, the template that we use to make the difference in downtown Ephrata. We could not dream this up all on our own. It would be so much more work, so much more labored effort with maybe just not quite as much impact. So I'm so grateful for just the whole program. I want to also thank our elected officials for being here. And I want to thank my Mainspring Board of Directors and staff for being here at this important event. Ephrata is a borough on the rise. We launched initiatives this year to support our small businesses and property owners, initiatives such as the Facade Improvement Grant Program, the Revolving Loan Fund, all of that to build our downtown. And our plans to expand Ephrata's recreational assets promise to bring in a whole new level of economic growth for the borough. Governor Shapiro's Main Street Matters program injects fuel into all of these efforts. It provides that critical financial support to Main Street programs such as ours that will be felt throughout the entire state. Our businesses' current and future success directly affected by the economic health and growth of Ephrata. So I want to thank Governor Shapiro for having that vision and for investing in us as well as the entire state. So that pretty much concludes this portion of the press event. I want to invite Secretary Siger to tour 3 businesses that we have prepared in advance for him to see. We're very especially excited about these. The first one that's going to be toured is right here, the Windsor building. It's a huge building, and it is the great example of how a company, an insurance company, banded together with other insurance companies, created this building to be their headquarters. They chose Ephrata, downtown Ephrata, to make as their headquarters, and invested literally millions of dollars into the development of this perfect building, this environmental green building, and we're just so proud that they chose Ephrata to do it right at our square. Then the second place that's going to be toured is Casa Huerta. It is a Mexican grocery store, just a very small, independently owned business right near our square. And the reason I really wanted this to be featured is because it is an example of the diversity that we have downtown. Few people realize that 17% of all of the businesses on Main Street are ethnic owned. So we're very proud of that. It gives our whole culture that extra level of flavor and excitement. And the third business to tour that will be ending the visit for today will be Pour Mans Brewing Company. Why there? Well, that is a great example of adaptive reuse in one of our historic buildings. If that building is sort of like the fabric of downtown Ephrata. If that building went away, part of the whole identity of Ephrata would go away. And so we had a business owner with the vision to move in there, readapt it for a restaurant, brewing company, and event space. So it's important that you see that.